The Ultimatum. Commander Elena Reyes stood at the viewport of Orbital Defense Station Delta, her dark eyes fixed on the alien vessel that had just arrived. It hung in space like a predatory fish, sleek, dangerous, and utterly foreign. The ship belonged to the Galactic Concordat, a coalition of 27 spacefaring species that had, until now, largely ignored humanity's expansion into the stars. "They're hailing us again," Lieutenant Park said from his communication station. "Their ambassador insists on speaking directly with Earth's leadership, not with station command." Elena's jaw tightened. "Tell them the Security Council representatives will meet them in 12 hours. Earth Standard." "Yes, Commander." The Concordat had emerged from faster-than-light travel just beyond Luna's orbit 4 hours ago. No warning, no diplomatic channels, just sudden appearance and demands. In the 70 years since humanity had discovered the FTL principle and begun colonizing nearby star systems, the Concordat had paid little attention to Earth. Occasional trade, cursory scientific exchanges, but mostly a polite distance had been maintained. Until today. Elena pulled up her secure link to Earth Defense Command. General Santos's weathered face appeared instantly. "Commander Reyes, report. Single Concordat vessel, Hegemony-class diplomatic cruiser according to our recognition software. Heavily armed for a diplomatic mission. They're demanding to address Earth leadership directly." The general's expression remained neutral, but Elena had served under Santos long enough to recognize the tension around his eyes. "The Security Council is assembling now. You've bought us some time. What's your assessment?" Elena chose her words carefully. "Their weapon systems are active but not targeted. Their shields are at full strength. This isn't a casual visit." "Agreed. Stay alert. I'll contact you after the initial meeting." 12 hours later, Elena stood in the station's main conference room. The room had been prepared according to the strange atmospheric and gravitational requirements transmitted by the Concordat vessel. The air was heavier with nitrogen, the gravity increased by 15%, and the temperature several degrees cooler than human preference. When the Concordat delegation materialized, they preferred transportation technology to shuttles. Elena had to control her expression. The ambassador, if that's what it was, stood nearly 7 feet tall, with 4 upper limbs and an exoskeletal body structure reminiscent of Earth's arachnids. Its skin was a metallic blue, and what appeared to be breathing apparatus pulsed rhythmically around what might be a neck. Behind it stood 2 guards of a different species, reptilian, heavy-bodied, with enhanced cybernetic components visible at their joints. The Earth delegation, led by Security Council President Dr. Amara Okafor, remained seated at the conference table. The political statement was subtle but clear. Earth would not be intimidated. "Ambassador Tzakval," Dr. Okafor said, "welcome to Earth space. You've traveled a considerable distance. What brings the Concordat to our system with such urgency?" The ambassador's translation device hummed before producing a flat, artificial voice. "The Concordat High Council has observed human expansion with growing concern. Your species has colonized 11 star systems in near decades. You have established military outposts beyond your recognized territories. You have developed technologies that were not anticipated in a species of your development stage." Elena watched President Okafor's face remain impassive despite the accusatory tone. "Humanity has expanded peacefully," Okafor replied. "We've established diplomatic ties where possible and avoided contested systems." Ambassador Tzakval's upper limbs made a sharp, dismissive gesture. "The Concordat has made its decision. Human expansion presents an unacceptable destabilization to this sector. Therefore, the following measures will be implemented immediately." A holographic display appeared above the center of the table, showing a list of demands. Elena read them with growing disbelief. All human colonies beyond Sol system will be abandoned within 1 Earth standard year. Earth's fleet will be reduced to defensive capabilities only. No vessels larger than patrol class permitted. All faster-than-light research will cease. Existing technology will be placed under Concordat supervision. Earth will accept Concordat observers at all major military and research facilities. No human vessels will travel beyond Mars orbit without Concordat approval. This is not a negotiation, the ambassador continued. This is the unified will of the 27 species of the Concordat. You have 30 Earth days to begin implementation. The room fell silent. Elena could see the controlled fury in Dr. Okafor's posture, mirrored in every human present. And if we refuse? General Santos asked, his voice dangerously calm. The ambassador's translator paused for several seconds, as if computing the appropriate response. Then the Concordat will be forced to implement these measures directly. A containment fleet stands ready. After the Concordat delegation departed, the Earth representatives remained in stunned silence. Elena waited for someone to speak, to articulate the anger and disbelief that filled the room. "They're lying," said Admiral Chen, head of Earth Fleet Command, finally breaking the silence. "This isn't about stability. They've seen our innovation curve." Dr. Okafor nodded. 70 years from our first FTL test to 11 colonized systems. They're afraid. "They should be," muttered Defense Minister Rodriguez. "Our quantum computation systems are already more advanced than anything they've shown us. Our new shield technology, which they clearly don't know about," interrupted General Santos. "Their intelligence is lacking in several key areas." Elena cleared her throat. "Excuse me, but what are we going to do? Their 30-day deadline is not going to be met," Dr. Okafor said firmly. "Commander Reyes, what you've witnessed today is classified at the highest level. Return to your duties and maintain normal operations." "Yes, Mom." As Elena left the conference room, her secure comm pinged with a message from General Santos. "Report to Cheyenne Mountain Command immediately. Operation Starfall is now active." The next 3 weeks passed in a blur of activity. Elena, reassigned to Earth's primary military command center beneath Cheyenne Mountain, watched in awe as humanity prepared its response to the Concordat's ultimatum. Operation Starfall had been a contingency plan developed in secret over the past 15 years, ever since Earth's scientists had determined that the Concordat was deliberately withholding technology from humanity while assessing their potential as a threat. The plan called for the activation of a network of stealth satellites throughout the Sol system, equipped with Earth's newest quantum displacement shields and graviton pulse weapons. These technologies had been developed in black site research facilities, hidden from the Concordat's occasional observation missions. The Concordat thinks we're still using particle beam technology and fusion drives, Admiral Chen explained during one of the endless briefings. "They have no idea we've already surpassed their propulsion systems and developed effective countermeasures to their weapons." Elena studied the holographic display showing the Concordat containment fleet gathering at the edge of the Sol system. 35 ships, ranging from destroyers to a massive dreadnought. "They outnumber our visible fleet 4-1, she observed. General Santos smiled grimly. "Our visible fleet is a decoy. The real response is already in position." Dr. Okafor, who had taken direct command of Operation Starfall, addressed the war room. "The Concordat expects us to either comply or make a desperate, doomed stand with inferior technology. They believe their show of force will intimidate us into submission." She looked around the room, her eyes hard with determination. "They fundamentally misunderstand humanity, and they're about to learn that lesson." Steel response. The Concordat's deadline expired at 600 hours Earth Standard Time. By 6:05, their containment fleet had begun advancing into the Sol system. Weapons charge, a final communication sent. Implement the outlined measures immediately or face containment actions. Earth sent no response, only silence. Commander Elena Reyes stood in Earth Defense Command alongside the highest-ranking military and civilian leaders of humanity. The massive holographic display showed the advancing Concordat fleet, now passing Neptune's orbit. "All Starfall units report ready," announced Colonel Takashi from the operations desk. Dr. Okafor nodded. "Activate defensive grid but maintain communication blackout. Let them come to us. Elena watched as the hidden network of defense platforms, invisible to Concordat sensors due to their quantum state displacement fields, powered up across the solar system. The technology had been Earth's most closely guarded secret, the ability to shift matter partially out of phase with normal spacetime, rendering it virtually undetectable. Concordat fleet continuing approach, reported the sensor officer. They're maintaining formation and broadcasting demands for our surrender on all channels. General Santos' lips curved in a cold smile. Let's show them why that was a mistake. Dr. Okafor gave a single nod. Execute Operation Starfall. Throughout the solar system, 300 stealth platforms simultaneously locked onto the Concordat vessels and fired graviton pulse weapons, technology that the alien coalition believed was still theoretical. The pulses distorted space itself around their targets, overwhelming shield systems designed to repel energy and matter, not warped spacetime. On the command center's main display, Elena watched as 27 of the 35 Concordat ships suddenly lost power, their drive systems and weapons disabled by the unexpected attack. The remaining 8, including the Dreadnought, managed to maintain partial shields but were clearly damaged. Phase 2, ordered Dr. Okafor. Earth's decoy fleet, the outdated ships that the Concordat had been tracking and dismissing, suddenly accelerated to speeds that should have been impossible for their visible propulsion systems. Hidden quantum drives, another technological achievement kept secret from alien observers, gave them maneuverability that caught the remaining Concordat vessels unprepared. They're trying to regroup, reported Admiral Chen, watching the tactical display. Their command ship is broadcasting in the clear. They're confused about our capabilities. As intended, General Santos said. Now we dictate terms. Dr. Okafor stepped forward. Open a channel to the Concordat flagship. When the communication connected, the image of a different alien appeared, not the ambassador, but a military commander of the same species. Its metallic blue exoskeleton appeared dimmer, stress indicators visible around its breathing apparatus. This is Dr. Amara Okafor, representing United Earth. Your fleet has been neutralized without a single casualty. Your ships are disabled but intact, your crews unharmed. We could have destroyed you entirely. She paused, letting the statement sink in. Instead, we offer new terms. The alien commander's translator emitted a series of sounds that might have been disbelief or rage before it responded. The Concordat does not negotiate under duress. Neither does humanity, Dr. Okafor replied evenly. Yet you arrived in our system with an ultimatum backed by military threat. Consider this a demonstration of why such approaches are inappropriate between civilized species. Elena watched the alien's posture shift, upper limbs moving in what intelligence analysts had identified as a gesture of concession. What are your terms? The commander asked finally. First, the Concordat will acknowledge humanity's sovereign right to all currently settled systems and recognize our border expansion claims as filed with the Galactic Registry. The commander started to object, but Dr. Okafor continued without pause. Second, the technology sharing restrictions placed on humanity will be lifted immediately. Third, Earth will be granted full membership in the Concordat with equal voting rights, not the observer status previously offered. She leaned forward slightly. Finally, the Concordat will publicly acknowledge that its assessment of humanity was flawed and that future relations will be based on mutual respect rather than containment. The alien commander was silent for several long moments before responding. You realize the Galactic Council will not simply accept these demands. They're not demands, Dr. Okafor corrected. They're the foundation for a relationship between equals. Your fleet remains intact as a gesture of good faith. Your crews will be unharmed. But make no mistake, if the Concordat chooses escalation instead of diplomacy, what you've witnessed today was only a fraction of humanity's defensive capabilities. The statement wasn't entirely true. Earth had committed nearly all its advanced technology to Operation Starfall, but the bluff was delivered with perfect confidence. I will convey your proposal, "To the High Council," the commander said finally. "Do so," Dr. Okafor replied. "We will escort your vessels to the edge of the Sol system once communications are complete. Earth out." When the channel closed, the command center remained silent for several seconds before erupting in controlled celebration. Alina felt a hand on her shoulder and turned to see General Santos. "The real work begins now, Commander," he said quietly. "We've shown them our teeth, but we need to be prepared if they decide to return with bigger guns." Elena nodded. "Do you think they'll accept the terms?" "They don't have much choice," Dr. Okafor interjected, joining their conversation. "Their intelligence on us was catastrophically wrong. They'll need time to reassess, and that gives us time to strengthen our position." 3 weeks later, Elena stood in the same conference room where the Concordat had delivered their ultimatum. This time, however, the Earth delegation did not sit in supplication. Dr. Okafor stood at the head of the table, flanked by military and civilian leaders. When Ambassador Tsakval materialized with a new delegation, notably including a senior military figure and what intelligence identified as a senior scientific advisor, the power dynamic had visibly shifted. "The Concordat High Council has considered Earth's response," the ambassador began, its artificial voice now modulated to sound less commanding. "After reviewing the events of the past month, we recognize that our assessment of human technological development was incomplete." Elena maintained her professional composure, but inwardly smiled at the diplomatic understatement. "The High Council has authorized me to accept your terms with certain modifications regarding technology exchange protocols. Additionally, the Council extends an invitation for an Earth delegation to visit Concordat Prime to formalize humanity's full membership status." Dr. Okafor nodded. "We accept the invitation and look forward to reviewing the proposed modifications. Earth values peaceful relations, Ambassador Tsakval, but as recent events have demonstrated, we value our independence more highly." The message was clear. Humanity would engage with the galactic community as equals, not as subjects to be contained. As the formal proceedings continued, Elena thought about the message this would send throughout the galaxy. Humanity, barely 70 years into its interstellar era, had faced down one of the oldest coalitions in known space, and prevailed not through overwhelming force, but through innovation, secrecy, and strategic thinking. The Concordat had issued an ultimatum. Humanity had responded with silence, steel, and a demonstration that underestimation would be a costly mistake. As the meeting concluded, Dr. Okafor approached Elena. "Commander Reyes, you've been selected to lead the security detail for our delegation to Concordat Prime. We'll need your observational skills." Elena straightened. "It would be my honor, Madam President." "Remember this moment," Dr. Okafor said quietly. "Today marks humanity's true emergence onto the galactic stage, not as newcomers to be managed or contained, but as equals to be respected." Outside the viewport, Earth turned serenely, unaware that its children had just secured their place among the stars, not with surrender, but with silence and steel.